Mike.
There we are.
You have fantasy football with the Dork and the Dude.
I'm the dude.
And I am the Dork.
That is. I checked our stats, and the dude in Frankfurt was still listening.
Right on.
So we're back, and thanks, whoever you are in Frankfurt, Germany.
Thanks for the listen. And on the plus side, last week we did get the over right on the San Francisco-Detroit game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, nothing.
Yeah, it was brutal. The Dork and I were talking after the games, and I says, yeah, you know, when everybody and his brother is on the two teams, that's a trap.
That's probably, yeah.
And it was. What saved my ass was I hit a couple of props. And a couple other ones, or I would have been annihilated.
Mm-hmm.
As it was, every pro bettor out there is a hurting unit this week.
Mm-hmm. Well, not all, but most. A lot of them like Baltimore and San Francisco, as we did.
Yep.
Especially the San Francisco game, that just shows, and it happened with so many of the games, it can come down to one play.
Sure. Yeah, you've got the four best teams in the league.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, interception here, fumble there,
yep.
Bad call there.
Mm-hmm.
That shit can turn it in when you got four teams of this quality.
Right.
So give me your impressions of the games, and then, of course, San Francisco and KC going into the Super Bowl.
Okay, let's starting with the first one, which I didn't see. I was coming back from Portland to my
Stumptown.
Yeah. My brother, my brother is a Ravens fan. I talked to him some, and he told me it was just Kansas City's defense that won. He said they were very impressive. It sounds like the Ravens moved the ball pretty well in the second half, but because I had it on the radio.
Well, I watched the game, and KCD did play well. They put pressure on.
Mm-hmm.
My whole problem with Baltimore, and ask your brother, why'd they go away from the run? I think their first running play, Edwards rips a 16-yarder, and then in the second half, the son of a bitches ran 7 times.
Right.
This is the best rushing team in the league.
That's how they roll. And
the game plan was for Lamar to win the damn thing by throwing, and it backfired on their ass, and they looked like idiots.
Not sure. Maybe KC was stuffing the line. I don't know.
No,
they weren't.
Well, they had let's see, what was it? Maybe 13 rushing attempts.
Yeah.
Even if you're getting stuffed, you have to keep running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
No screen passes. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And no wonder. And Kansas City didn't play that good of a game. And as usual, this vaunted Baltimore defense, which was number 1 in points allowed.
Yeah. Number 1 in a lot of metrics.
Let's fucking Travis Kelce run wild.
Yeah.
How's this keep happening? Teams know you shut that dude down. They got nobody else. And he's still running wild out in the secondary. I don't get it. Now, I'm just a podcaster, Dork. But
yeah. Kelsey's pretty good.
Well, I know.
Mean, he's a Hall of Famer.
But still, beat him up in the process.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Go after him.
He gets 3 releases off the line. It's a joke.
You got the players to do it in Hamilton, Roquan, and is it Queen?
Yep.
Yeah. You got the guys over the middle to do it. So it's crazy that he was so productive.
I'll never trust Baltimore again.
I'm gonna have doubts at betting against Kansas City again, but
I know it's a brutal beat.
The game could have gone
it could have
gone either way, but
Flowers fumbles on the goal line.
Mm-hmm. And then
that's 7 points. The difference in the game was 7 goddamn points.
And then the next drive down, or a later drive, and they were moving the ball in the second half. Lamar throws the interception in the end zone, and that's pretty much ball game.
Yeah, those two plays killed it for Baltimore.
And again, that was a bad throw by Lamar.
It was. He throws coverage. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And they did the same thing Buffalo did against Kansas City.
He should have just tucked it and ran.
When they should have gone to chip away the yardage, they went for the big one. The Flowers thing, I think that was just a great play by Snead. I saw the replay. I don't blame him for reaching out, but I just think Snead made a great play.
Yeah. Well, in hindsight, of course, you'd say he should have pulled the ball in and went down at the fucking 1.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He looks like an idiot.
Yeah.
And then he goes off on the sidelines and hurts his hand. I mean, the team blew a gasket.
The team blew it, yeah, and they know it.
They blew a gasket.
A coach like Harbaugh, you'd think that wouldn't happen, but
he made a couple bonehead moves too. So, all right, on to the Niners and Detroit.
That one I did watch, and man, Detroit looked good. That's about all I can say.
They were steamrolling them in the first half.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
He looked like a guy. He sits back there in the offense, which is fine.
Sure.
And he's got the weapons and he's very productive.
Yeah, and he's accurate.
There were times in this game he took it upon himself with the scrambling, with doing whatever he had to, and when he was scrambling, he wasn't sliding. He was diving ahead.
Yeah.
And
he's on the way to becoming a franchise QB.
Yeah, and one thing we I don't think everyone forgets it, but you got to keep in mind with him, he's only been a starter for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And there's still going to be an upward trend in his production.
Well, when you see
what he can do.
When you see the talking head gutter snipes on TV getting on Purdy and stuff, people should just say, the dude's played for a year and a half and you're judging him like he's goddamn Dan Marino.
Oh, I know. And it's I'll throw Lamar in there.
Sure.
Lamar made some bad plays.
Right.
He didn't have the best game, but it's also against a great defense. And, I hear people talking like, well, signing him was a mistake. No, it wasn't. He's a hell of a quarterback and
he's the MVP.
A hell of a good player. He's the MVP.
He's going to win me some money next week.
He's going to win you some scratch.
That's it.
And
some bank. A few sawbucks,
yeah, a whole stack of them. And I just hate the hot take culture in the media.
Yeah.
But that's what gets clicks. And
it's almost like the idiots on TV talking politics.
Yeah.
They're just as ridiculous.
Be as recent and as loud as possible and as certain of yourself as possible. And that's what people tune in for.
It's the Colin Cowherd model.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Yeah, and he carved out his model off of Rush Limbaugh.
Yes, he did. He'll admit that.
Yeah, so there you go. They're just snake oil salesmen.
Mm-hmm. But
take that, Colin.
Now, one thing I was thinking about at the Detroit game, they're down by 10. They're driving. Clock's running down.
Yep.
They I don't know. I'm thinking.
You mean the last series?
The last series.
Okay.
What about going down, kicking a field goal, make it a one-score game as soon as possible.
Obviously.
Keep your timeouts.
Yep.
Long kickoff, and try and stop San Francisco, which you'd been doing a pretty good job of.
Yeah. Instead, they run the ball and have to burn a timeout.
Instead, they have to burn a timeout. They're running clock.
Well, and, Dan Campbell, I predicted he would make a couple boneheads, and he did. He said, stood up there after the game, and I'll give him credit, man. He poured his heart out. And he said, yeah, I just thought we were going to walk it in.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't fucking walk shit in on the San Francisco 49ers, bitch!
Well, that's another thing. In the playoffs, it's okay to hold it back a bit.
Sure.
I mean, I think
throw the ball.
Yeah, it's Kansas City's success. Part of their success is that haven't made a lot of mistakes the last 2 years in the playoffs.
Yeah. And they somehow remain, virtually penalty free or close to
well,
it.
there's that too, but they don't shoot themselves in the foot like
they don't
against Jacksonville last year. They had
well, they're a disciplined team,
right? Jacksonville threw a tipped interception off the receiver's hand when they were in the red zone, ready to tie it up.
Right.
Cincinnati, they had that stupid penalty where the guy pushes Mahomes after he's out of bounds.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Cincinnati probably wins that game.
Yeah, well, teams shoot themselves in the foot against KC.
In the Super Bowl, if Hurts doesn't fumble for that fumble 6,
they win.
Philadelphia wins going away.
Oh, I know.
And because KC could not stop them.
Yep.
But once they evened it up, and it became a matter of who gets the ball last.
Good point.
They're masters at that.
They are.
And I'll even throw in the Buffalo game.
Patriots were the same way. Yeah. Teams would kill themselves against the Patriots by dumb mistakes.
And like you say, Kansas City does get favorable calls.
Sure.
I don't think it's a league-wide conspiracy to make the Golden Boy win,
but it's undeniable.
It's undeniable that they're going to get favorable calls. And you don't need to give them any extra help. And that's what Buffalo did.
Yep.
That's what Baltimore did.
Yep.
And there's just something to be said about
and if the 49ers make a couple of dumb plays, it'll be the same scenario.
Yeah. Yep.
I agree. Good analysis, Dork.
So there you go. Anyways, they were good games. I'm disappointed I got them both wrong, but that happens.
My DK account's very disappointed.
I know. But we'll be back. We're back here to talk Super Bowl today.
Yeah, we are.
And it's been a fun year and a fun playoffs, I think.
It's been awesome. I've had a great NFL season, both just in enjoying the season, fantasy. Yeah. It looks like I'm probably going to win our fantasy playoff league.
You're flush, dude.
My DK account's doing well. I've got some future bets out there already on different things.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball, one Super Bowl bet. I got NBA shit working. I'm on top of the world, Dork.
Yeah. You're the luckiest man on the face of the earth, I would say.
I'm getting there. I'm working on it.
Now,
it's not luck. I do my homework there, Dork.
Oh, yeah.
I have my models and power rankings. And
yeah, exactly. You run your simulations.
Exactly. I ran 2 million simulations on these 2 weekend games.
Okay. Where was I going with this?
I have no idea, man. You tell me.
Oh, you keep interrupting, so I forget. I'm getting old here, and the memory keeps going. But here it is. The San Francisco game last weekend. I was more confident about that than I was about any game all year.
Me too.
About the Niners covering.
I thought they'd blow them out.
I thought this was, it's like I've seen it before. A team new to the playoffs comes in.
They're over their head.
And San Francisco is a much better team at their best.
Yeah, they are.
And
although they have their weaknesses.
They do, but Detroit played a hell of a game. For all you want to say about Dan Campbell.
They came out in that first half and looked like a Super Bowl team.
He had them ready to play.
Super Bowl winning team.
They were not happy to be there.
Yeah.
And
the Niners were lucky to win.
For them going forward.
Niners were lucky to win.
But it was a point where I was so confident that I was scared. I said, it can't be this easy, can it?
I know.
But sure enough, there you go.
Yeah, and whenever I had the same vibe.
That's why they call it gambling.
I had the same vibe that when you start feeling that good about any proposition betting, there's a reason you should beware.
Yep.
And even the pros got suckered in.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh well. There's always tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And where can they find us on X, there, Dork?
At Dork and Dude FFL. I am going to make the move to Threads, I believe, or I'm going to try to.
Okay.
There's an Instagram thing about it that...
I have no clue, Dork. You know me.
But I'm going to figure that out.
Okay.
And,
awesome.
X is full of a bunch of clowns.
Yeah, we don't want to be associated with those idiots.
Yeah. Anyways, we're also, again...
We're not being elitist here. We're just... smarter than the average Xer.
Well, you gotta pick who you're gonna spend, who you're gonna be with,
Who you're going to associate with.
exactly.
I don't want to associate with those people.
So let's start talking about the Super Bowl. We're gonna give our picks this week, and next week we're gonna go prop.
Yep.
Crazy.
I have no idea on this game, Dork.
Do you have a pick?
I've got to take my 49ers.
Okay.
But it scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, I'm taking the 49ers too.
If I wasn't a 49er fan, I'd probably be betting KC, especially since they got 2 points right now.
Yeah, they're getting 2 points, and you've all heard, I'm sure, Mahomes. It's something like 11-1 as an underdog.
Yeah,
and he won his last 2 games as an underdog outright.
Right, and the San Francisco defense can be exploited.
Right.
Casey's going to get a couple of calls anyway that are going to benefit them. San Francisco, I think, overall is the better team. But
see, that's what I'm going by.
But KC's the reigning Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, and they got Mahomes, which is a big deal.
Yeah, so I'm damn near flip a coin.
Well, I am too, but I remember middle of the year, San Francisco on a 3-game losing streak.
I remember that.
Minnesota, Cleveland, and Cincinnati.
Yep.
With Joe Burrow. They have the bye week, and they came out of the bye week smoking.
Yeah, they did.
And that's another thing here. They've had a rough patch.
Yep.
But they have 2 weeks off to get well, and that can be a great leveler, equalizer.
And even when you have 2 rough patches like they've had this season, and you end up in the Super Bowl, that says something.
Yeah.
And the fact that they came back the last 2 games when Shanahan's record, when he was behind at halftime, was like ridiculous.
Yeah. It was like
they're showing heart.
They're showing heart, moxie, and all that.
Lots of moxie.
And, you got it. And
lots of moxie there. Those 49ers.
They're just, at their best, they're a better team. I believe both teams are reasonably healthy going in.
Right.
So I'm going to go with the better team. That's how I roll.
Me too.
I can make a case for them. And if you look at Cincinnati, Kansas City, they've got 6 playoff wins in a row. Other than Miami and Wild Card Week this year, where it was you had a warm weather team that was decimated by injuries.
Yep, playing in the
0-degree weather.
Yeah.
Every one of those games could have gone either way.
Yeah.
For KC.
And their victory, their 7-point victory against Baltimore, who kissed away at least 7 points.
Yeah.
Wasn't impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And if not for the Kelsey Mahomes connection, their offense was sputtering.
Yeah, and I like how
they weren't able to run the ball quite as well as they had been, and
everyone is kind of anointing Mahomes as the best ever now.
He's the golden boy. He's the new GOAT.
And that's doing it before the game. And I like Mahomes. He's
not a bad guy.
He seems like a good guy. He comes across well.
Yeah.
In commercials, the teammates seem to like him.
Well, the thing that impresses me about him, and he probably got this from Brady.
Yeah.
And that is that even when you win a game,
yeah,
and that you didn't deserve to win it, maybe you got a call or something that changed it. He walks up to the podium like, yeah, we knew we were going to kick ass.
Yeah.
There was never any doubt.
Yeah.
And so he's able to put on that facade of invincibility.
Right.
Which means that he becomes the golden boy even more because of the talking heads and the whole bet.
But that's kind of what they're putting on him now, is that you're just not going to beat this guy.
You can't beat him. He's the face of the NFL.
Yeah, and I think he can be beat.
He can be.
I think a good team like San Francisco can do it. Brady got beat.
Hey, if the officials let them play, and it's a square game when it comes to the penalties, the 49ers will beat them.
Yeah,
is my opinion. But I'm scared of this game, and like I say, it's a coin flip.
I think it's a coin flip,
Okay,
too.
give me the game plan for the 49ers to beat the world champs.
Run and stick to it.
I agree.
You can do it.
That was Baltimore's mistake.
And, you use Debo out of the backfield
Yep.
and on short passes.
End arounds.
McCaffrey.
Take your shot in the middle of the field when you get it.
Yeah, hitch him up and ride him. Take your shots. Maybe you'll get one to bounce off the safety's helmet and into Ayuk's hands.
I don't think McCaffrey's 100%, so I'm using Elijah Mitchell a little more.
If you gotta use Mitchell, there's a good back. He looks healthy.
Yep.
Yeah. You got, is it Mason? Another one?
Yeah, no, he's not on the radar.
I mean, they got the weapons.
Use Chet, give him 3 or 4
Chet,
carries.
Yeah, give him some carries.
That's the game plan.
I think that.
How about on defense? How did they stop KC?
I'm going to take Kelsey away and make the wide receivers beat me.
I'm with you.
Just do whatever you got to do to take them out of the game.
Yeah, just what worries me is the Lions put up 147 yards on the ground in the first half on those dudes.
Oh yeah, I mean,
if Pacheco goes off, it's over. They've got to stop the run.
These are two good teams,
They've got to stop the run.
And it should be a good game.
I hope so.
What do you think of the over-under?
What's it sitting at?
It's
47? I like the over.
Okay, I'm kind of leaning under now. And I don't know, maybe even on the game.
I mean, the Niners blew through the over last week.
Yeah, yes, they did, and both weeks.
Yep.
And KC
will be able to score, and I think the Niners should score on them. So I'm looking at, 52 points, 53.
Okay. I'm thinking it's going to be a running game where
that would make sense.
It's going to go back and forth, and
but then there's always turnovers.
You know?
I'm seeing a pick six somewhere, or a fumble recovery, or a safety.
Speaking of, you mentioned the pick six. I'll say it while it's on my mind.
Yeah.
And we're going to do props next week.
Yep.
But last year I looked, and in slightly over.
Wait, hold on a second here.
Oh God, here we go again. Dork alert.
In slightly over half of all Super Bowls, there has been a defense or special teams touchdown.
Yeah. It happens every year.
Last year, each team, Philadelphia and KC, were 6-1 to score a defensive touchdown.
Right.
Or defense or special teams.
Right.
I bet them both. I just said I think one of them will do it because it happens half the time.
So would you advocate for that this year?
Yeah. I didn't see it this year out there.
It'll be out there.
It'll be out there. And if it's still 6-1, that's a good way to go. Go on best teams. Or best bet on both teams. For the
separately.
Separately, yes.
But if you, I would guess right now, the odds on a defensive special teams touchdowns for both teams is probably between 4 to 5 to 1.
Okay, could be.
I haven't checked it, but I haven't started doing my prop work and running my model store.
Me either. I'm just it's been kind of a crazy few days.
Yeah.
I mean, I even got to I did get some numbers in San Francisco's favor, like. Give me a dork alert.
Oh, here we go again.
Oh God, here we go again. Dork alert.
The last 10 Super Bowls, the team with the tougher strength of schedule has won 7 times.
And who has it?
San Francisco by a fairly
How does
wide
a Super
margin.
Bowl champ end up with an easy schedule?
I don't know.
We talked last week about that.
Yeah.
You watch KC. Let's say even the Niners beat them this year. And so they finished runner-up. Well, didn't you say they have the 14th easiest?
I think going in, I mean, it changes as the year goes on. This is end-of-year rankings.
Yeah, well, it won't change that much. So, yeah, they're in the middle of the pack, schedule-wise, and they're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's a Niners bet there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a thing. It's small sample, but it's 70%.
It's a trend, which I thought you didn't believe there, Dork.
I look for things. I don't believe
they're called trends. That's what you look for, trends. That's what bettors do.
I don't believe that's what you should base your entire...
I don't.
thing on.
It's an element.
It's an element, right?
Okay, what else you got
but
there?
But also, once trends become news, they're not good anymore.
Yeah, because everyone's using them.
Yeah, they're figured into the lines.
Exactly. I learned that from Steve Fezzik.
Let's see. I took down so many notes, but I really didn't organize them. The underdogs have had the edge the last 20 years or so in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Like, again, winning about 70% of the time.
Right. I expect this to end up a pick 'em myself.
And that's kind of a flip from before.
Right.
The last century when the favorites were huge.
Especially back in the 70s and 80s.
70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah.
And you know what? Even when the underdogs covered, like when Doug Williams blew out Denver.
Yeah.
They were the dog. It was usually a big total.
Yeah.
Or the Raiders when they beat Theismann and Washington.
Yep.
They pounded them, and they were the dogs going in.
It's 34-10, I think.
Something like that. It wasn't close.
I lost a lot of money on Denver that year. Washington beat them on side bets with buddies.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
Over under, it's about even. There's no trends there to look at.
Well, you know what the sports books love about over and unders? Is they get juice no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's where they make their dough, is on the juice.
And they say, and this is something I had heard today, is it's probably going to be bet up because people are going to like the over.
Right.
So if you like the over, bet it early. If you like the under, wait and to go up.
I almost laid the over yesterday.
Okay.
But I haven't seen Teddy covers, and until I do,
you get to
I can't hit that bet button. You know.
Okay. But I'm like you. I don't have a big feel about this game.
I have no feel. Of course, I want the Niners to blow them out. Of course, I also, have some squares on a couple of boards, so I can randomly make money no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Which I love, Dork.
Well, I should make something on this because I'm going to.
You got the Niners
I got
Super
the
Bowl.
Niners at 8-1, $20.
That was a good bet when you made it.
And now I'm gonna.
That'd be what 160?
Yeah, and I'm gonna put down the Chiefs money line for something.
What's the money line
it's
now?
It's plus 105 last I saw.
Yeah, might as well grab that plus money now.
So, that way I'm covered either way.
Yeah.
And in something like this where I have no clue.
Of course, there's the other side. You just go all in on Niners and cash big.
Yeah, I did that in baseball, and I didn't cash. So I'm thinking now's the time to do it.
Okay.
Again, this is business. This is
business.
This isn't the time to be Dan Campbell and let it ride.
That's for sure. Oh, and speaking about the Dan Campbell thing, of course, there was also the two times he went for it on fourth down, and both failed.
Yep.
Now, I think I saw some graphic that they were successful on their fourth down 42% or 43% of the time or something, which is not bad. But when you do it twice and the percentage is 0,
yeah,
that's a killer.
And like you say,
punt the ball.
Don't do it against the 49ers.
Yeah, well, and when you're up by 17, 14, whenever that occurred, punt the ball.
Yeah,
make them drive the field, if anything.
This shit works against the Bears. It works against the Panthers or the Saints or teams like that.
Exactly.
In the playoffs, you just got to tone it down a bit. That's what you don't see any schmancy pants Kansas City stuff, or you see very little.
Hey, Detroit lucked out getting by the Rams.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of bonehead decisions in that one.
Yeah.
And so eventually, your luck is going to run out.
Yep.
And that's what happened to Dan. I like Dan Campbell.
I like him too.
He's a good guy. He'll hopefully learn from this. But if he keeps going with, well, this is who we are, and this is what we're going to do, it's not going to end well in the long run.
No, it isn't. And the guy, I'm a longtime Bears fan.
Sure.
And Campbell reminds me a lot of Ditka. He, tough guy.
I wouldn't compare him to Ditka. I think he's better.
Well, there's some...
I know he's better.
there's some similarities. I think he was a tight end.
Yep.
He came in as a tough guy who people kind of laughed at, snickered at when he talked about biting kneecaps, and Ditka was the same way.
True. Bombastic.
Yeah, he took a rebuilt roster. First year they were terrible. Second year they were good, but they, had to kind of learn how to win, but finished near 500 or maybe just above.
Won like their last 6 out of 7 games.
The same with the Bears in Ditka's second year.
Yep.
Third year they hit the championship game against the Niners in both cases.
Yep.
And fourth year, Ditka won the Super Bowl. Now, there are differences. Campbell doesn't have a defense anywhere near as good as that.
True.
But he has a great offense.
He's going to be working on that defense if he's smart.
Right. He has the hidden strength of that Bears team was their great offensive line, and that's a strength in Detroit. So
Detroit's got a better quarterback than the Bears did.
When McMahon was healthy, he was fine.
Goff's better.
Goff has a bit easier. Goff has an easier time to throw. You know what I mean?
I was never an
easier era to throw.
Yeah, that's true. I was never a big McMahon fan and stuff. I thought he just kind of like was in the right place at the right time.
Oh, it helped, but you could say that about Montana. Or just about anyone.
But you put McMahon on any other team than the '85 Bears, and the guy's a clown.
He had two big problems. One, he was injury prone.
Yep.
And he didn't know how to slide.
Didn't know how to throw the ball away.
He
would get hammered back.
Yeah. He took a lot of hits.
He was a tough guy.
And he did not work at it. He was a great natural athlete, but he really didn't do the hard work.
That's a story of a lot of guys.
Yeah. And but I'll defend him in '85 he led the league in a lot of passing metrics, a lot of efficiency metrics.
Yeah, but he probably threw for 2,100 yards or something.
Yeah, but it was the '80s. They didn't let you throw. They let the defense tee off on you.
Hey, the Raiders and the Niners were throwing in the '80s.
Yeah, but if you look at it, there weren't a lot of 4,000-yard passers in the '80s.
True. '70s.
Marino was.
Yeah, '70s. It was like 3,000.
Fouts and Marino. Namath did it in the '60s, and there were some after that, but the big offensive explosion didn't happen till later.
True.
But yeah, McMahon was helped a lot by his system, his defense, and his offensive line.
I'm just saying, you probably could have took 10 other quarterbacks that were playing in the league that year, plug them in for McMahon, they win the fucking thing.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, because that was an era of pretty decent quarterbacks.
Yeah. And they ran the ball more.
They ran the ball a lot, those Bears.
And you got Peyton.
And
the fridge.
The fridge running in it.
Of course, there was the whole controversy of Peyton not getting a touchdown in his only Super Bowl and giving it to the damn fridge.
Yeah.
How did you shake out on that?
You could see after the game that Peyton was disappointed. And
he was crushed.
Stuff I have read in retrospect confirms that.
Yeah.
That he wasn't even going to come out for the press conference. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, Walter, get over yourself,
Well,
you just won a ring. No one thinks the less you that you had a bad game.
But it was an intentional thing by Ditka.
Yeah. And Ditka has always said that's his biggest regret as a coach. Not giving it to Peyton.
Easy to do after the fact.
Well, when you're in the game and things are rolling.
Right. And you go, let's stick the fridge in.
You know what?
You're excited.
I'm just going to say I don't want my coach thinking I got to get this guy a score.
Sure.
Same with the quarterback. There were a couple times McMahon dove it in. And I think both of them and everyone, the whole team loved Walter,
Sure. And I guess the point is to win the game.
The point is to win the game, but I don't think he needed to be such a baby. But, that's part of the deal.
Okay. I just know from coaches of my teams, the John Maddens, the Bill Walsh's, hell, even Tom Flores, those guys, they would have made a point to get Peyton a touchdown.
Yeah, probably.
They don't care what anyone thinks or says, or, yeah, they made a point to do this. He gets him that touchdown because he might not get back to the game, and he never did get back.
And also the fridge is, he'd be a hell of a decoy. You hand it to him and, pitch it to Peyton.
But Peyton just jumps over the pile like a patent move.
Yeah.
And boom, he's there.
Yep.
Anyway.
No, I
agree. Always had heartburn about that, and I felt sorry for Peyton.
Yeah, I've kind of let it go. He had a great career, made a lot of money.
Sure.
Sad he died so young.
Yeah, that was the worst part.
Anyways, yeah, but thanks for talking Bears with me. 85 Bears.
I love Bears. The Bears back in those days, they were hard-nosed teams, man.
They were tough, yeah.
If they ever had a quarterback, well, they still don't have one. If they ever had a quarterback in the last 30 years, they could have been a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one last Bears question.
Yeah.
Why do you think they never prioritized the QB, and the only time they did was Trubisky, and they fucked it up? Why don't they had high draft picks for decades?
No, I agree. They
what the fuck are they thinking?
2005, I want to say they had the 4th or 5th pick in the draft.
Right.
They take Cedric Benson when Aaron Rodgers is out. I mean, Aaron Rodgers dropped a ways. That's Rashaan Salam.
Yeah, another bust.
You
take a running back there with Aaron Rodgers sitting out there.
Yeah.
That was dumb. And I bet you could compile a list of great quarterbacks that the Bears passed on when they had high draft picks galore.
No, they used to talk about Montana.
Right.
The Bears top scout that year, or someone high up who makes decisions. His Notre Dame's a Chicago school. It's in Indiana, but has a lot of fans in Chicago.
Sure.
And his kids were, I think it was his daughter, was a fan of Notre Dame and said, are you going to draft Joe Montana? Because back then they just draft, the draft wasn't televised, put it that way.
No, it's been televised. Yeah, it was.
I don't think so.
I think
it started in the early 80s. And
no.
when Montana was already established.
I could be wrong, but
we'll look it up. It started with ESPN, but we could look it up.
Sure.
Anyways, he said, well, we like him. We think we might, if he's there in the third round, second or third round. He was there in the third round. They took a running back named Willie McClendon.
Jesus.
When you have Walter Payton, how stupid is that?
And Joe Montana's sitting there.
And a lot of other teams passed on him too.
Well, sure.
But
and they regretted it.
Mm-hmm.
He made them pay.
Yes, he did. So, but they've always liked their image of a tough-nosed, smash-mouth, defensive
That's old football.
And running team. That's 60s football.
It's outdated.
It's been outdated since the 70s.
And now they've got a guy Fields who, with all of his shortcomings, is dynamic.
Yeah.
And they're going to jettison him.
We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen there. I think it depends on...
I mean, their quarterback play has been horrific for decades.
It has.
Just stick with this kid one more year.
Oh, no. I agree. I would stick with Fields. I would get the mother-loaded draft picks.
Grab me a Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, this is a stacked draft.
You can get Marvin.
You can set yourself up with probably 2 number 1s and 2 number 2s.
Yep.
For each of the next 2 years. And it seems like the thing to do. Fields, not only has he shown progress, I know he's got shortcomings.
Sure.
But,
all young quarterbacks do.
Yeah, but he's
only played 3 years.
He improved. The teammates love him.
Yep.
The fans basically want him back.
They do.
He's a leader. He's a worker. He's everything you'd want.
Get him some weapons.
Other than the fact that he doesn't process as quickly as you like. But I think if you get him some weapons, yeah.
Well, you could say the same thing about Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Fields is Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Give him another year or two to put him in a system.
Yeah.
Maybe Waldron will come up with that.
Yeah.
That works for him, and give him a shot for a couple years, and yet take that draft haul.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking, and they might do that. He might be playing it close to the vest.
I hope
we'll
they
see.
do.
But you know, if you're getting another Mahomes and Caleb Williams, you got to think about it.
True. Are you convinced that that's the case?
I'm not, but who knows?
Yeah.
It's quarterbacks are hard, and most of them fail.
Right.
So you just got to make your best call and hope it works.
I'll wait and see what Mel has to say.
Mel wants him to take Caleb.
Does he?
Most of the experts.
Because Mel's a Chicago boy, right?
No, he's Baltimore. He's from Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
He always worked out of He always, when he was doing his thing before ESPN, he worked out of Baltimore.
Okay. I thought he was a Chicago guy.
No.
Mel. So Mel thinks that
him, Daniel Jeremiah, everyone I've seen has him taking Caleb Williams.
Well, so the problem for the Bears is if they stick with Fields and build around him and stuff, and Williams goes off, and is rookie of the year or some bullshit, they look like idiots.
Yeah, and if Fields just never develops,
they look like
beyond
idiots.
what he is now, which is a good quarterback, but
right.
You know he has some flaws, and Williams is great. Yeah, they look like fools, and if they trade Fields and Williams is a bust, they look like
Yeah,
it's a tough decision he got.
That's why they pay those cats that dough.
That's why they make the big bucks.
Yep. There's a rumor Fields to the Raiders.
I've heard to the Raiders and the Falcons, and they're talking a second and then another later pick.
Yeah, second like a fifth.
Yeah. And
which is probably fair value if you're going to unload him.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I'd like to see Fields as a Raider.
Yeah. I mean, he's a guy I'll pull for the rest of my life. You know?
And he might develop into the perfect Raider.
Yeah.
I remember Darryl LaMonica, one of the greatest Raiders of all time.
Yeah.
They questioned his toughness, and there's questions about is he a top quarterback and stuff, and he disproved all that shit. You know, Kenny Stabler, of course, he came out of what was it, Alabama?
Alabama, yeah.
Highly touted and everything like that, but there were question marks about him.
Yeah,
you know,
he was the second quarterback they drafted that year, I believe. I think the first was named Eldridge Dickey.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think he was a black guy.
It could be, yeah. Yeah, and that'd be just something Davis and Madden would do.
Of
They'd
course.
say, they can play. We've seen him play. He's good.
Sure.
But, but Stabler was much better.
Yeah, he was. But, if Fields goes to the Raiders, I'll be watching the Raiders a little closer than I have been.
I will too. But I'm going to root for whoever is the core. Hell, I spent 10 years cheering for Jay Cutler, so whoever has the uniform on behind center for the Bears is my guy.
I hear you, old Jay, smoking Jay.
He is their best quarterback of the modern era, and that's kind of sad.
It is sad. And if he would have been a better leader, you guys might have won a Super Bowl that 1 year in particular when he got hurt.
2010, when the Packers won it. They came to Chicago for the championship game. It was a close one.
Yeah, it was.
Cutler got hurt.
Yep. You had to play some practically dude off the practice squad.
Right. Caleb Haney.
Haney, that's him. And the poor kid, I felt sorry for him getting thrown into that like that.
Yeah.
And then we've talked about it. Cutler didn't even help the sumbitch on the bench.
No, Cutler
he just sat there and pouted.
He sat there pouting.
Yeah. What a guy. Well, what an idiot. I hate that guy. His attitude, I hate.
Yeah.
He had all the talent in the world. He's kind of like I compared him to Jeff George.
Yeah. My brother Jim, the Ravens fan, I remember when the trade was made, and he said, the Bears just got themselves the next Jeff George. And, of course, I pushed back against it at the time.
Right.
But he was right.
Right. Well, I remember you and I were friends when that trade happened, and you you were blown away, and I thought, yeah, this is a good deal pickup for the Bears and the whole bet.
Yeah.
I bought in too.
Yeah.
But he was the Bears' Jeff George.
He was.
Okay, where do you want to go from here there, Dork?
Oh, I think we should wrap it up.
We should, or we'll just keep rambling like a couple of old football.
Like a couple of old, long-time football fans.
That's it.
You know, it's been a great season. I've really enjoyed it.
It has.
I enjoy every season. You know.
I did too. I've never had a bad season that I didn't enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't like the outcomes half the time.
Than others. I wish we had a, you know, I wish the Bears had been better. I wish the Ravens had made it to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Lot of stuff. But, you know, just enjoy it. And,
that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to ask you one more thing, Dork. Since I'm the voodoo master and everything like that. Have you heard about this ridiculous conspiracy with Taylor Swift?
What's that?
That, well, I guess it started before this whole Kansas City Kelsey thing.
Yeah.
But it exploded after that.
Yeah.
Here's the theory that the whack jobs have out there. Taylor Swift was created as a psychops, a psychological operation by the Defense Department.
Yes, I heard something about that.
To get young voters to register Democrat and help Biden win or something.
Yeah, now...
And now with the whole Super Bowl and her there and stuff, there's actually people taking this, pretending to take this seriously on Fox News and shit. Yeah. Do you think there's anything to it, Doris?
Oh yeah, she's a psyop.
Okay.
I'm a longtime liberal. We talked about it at the meeting. I remember it was 5 years ago. Is the psyop ready, for fuck's sake? You know.
Sure.
Trump's in office. What do we get? We need help here. And then.
And so Taylor's part of the counterattack.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
These guys.
But the MAGNA people are going nuts over this.
Oh, I know. And she just...
And we don't talk politics on this show because it's offended. But since Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and the Chiefs are wrapped up in this ridiculous bullshit, you know, we got to bring it up.
For one...
Because everybody's talking about it as if it's like a story.
We have no idea what Travis Kelce's politics are. All we know is...
But here's the deal. The reason he's tied into this is he did those COVID vaccine commercials.
He did a COVID vaccine commercial.
That made him an
which, like, what, 80% of America maybe went and got the vaccination and thinks it's just fine?
Yeah, but because he did that, he's a target.
Yeah. And
which is ridiculous.
The only politics she spoke was her big thing. She's definitely on the left because of the right's anti-abortion and perceived anti-woman
misogyny.
Perceived misogyny, all that.
Sure.
Like most young American women her age are.
Sure.
And she's been doing a lot of registering people to vote.
Yeah,
which is not illegal. It's not a conspiracy theory.
In fact, in the old days, you were given credit for that.
Yeah, I had a.
Nowadays, you're suspicious.
Back in the Chicago
Why
suburbs,
would they want people to vote?
Yeah. I had a friend who was a family values Republican.
Right.
Great guy, Terry. I won't say his name, but...
We all have good friends like that.
And I used to always see him around, Palatine, Illinois.
Okay.
Registering people to vote.
Sure.
He'd be sitting at a table in like the grocery store, volunteering for the party.
Good for him.
And, in the suburbs at the time... That was Republican stronghold.
Yeah,
so,
it was. Still is
Still is, in a lot of places.
Right. Okay. Well, that's the whole.
That's enough politics, but I don't.
I will have to say though, if the Defense Department developed a psychops that involves Taylor Swift, they're fucking smarter than I thought. Yeah. Which makes them scary. I mean, who's the next psychops person they're going to create that's going to become a billionaire superstar and determine the presidential election outcome?
I know, and they give...
Maybe they bring back Leave It to the Beaver or something.
Yeah, Jerry Mathers.
Maybe Mathers comes out of...
Or Eddie Haskell.
Comes out of his basement.
Yeah, maybe Walt Disney's will come out of deep freeze.
We're going off the rails here, people.
I know they give the Democrats way too much credit for being competent.
Well, and that was one thing I read. When the shit hit the fan about a week ago about this conspiracy theory. Somebody just said, "Does anybody really think the Defense Department could get anything like this right and cover it up?"
I know, right? Yeah.
After Iraq and Afghanistan, and
they can't even get the House to vote for Ukraine aid.
Tell me about
which they're big on. But anyways, enough about politics.
Yep.
We'll
You've been watching fantasy football
week.
with the Dork and Dude.
Enjoy the Pro Bowl this weekend?
I think so. It's not really a game anymore, is it?
It's flag football and skills competitions.
Not that I watched the Pro Bowl ever.
I haven't, no. It's been years.
They should just do away with it.
That'd be nice, but people tune in and the NFL makes some
What's
money.
The next thing they're going to be doing? Having those cats out there doing sack races?
That'd be fun.
If you're a dork,
yeah,
it would be fun.
Yeah.
At the 4th of July picnic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Got that right. The three-legged race.
I actually remember doing the three-legged race with my dad at a 4th of July picnic one time.
I remember doing the wheelbarrow thing somewhere.
Okay.
Where you hold someone's legs and maybe I was the guy on the ground moving my hands.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I remember that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yep.
Hope you enjoy the week off of football. After the Super Bowl, you'll have the draft in the UFL to look forward to.
Well, and after the Super Bowl, we're going to, scouting starting already with the Senior Bowl right now in the East-West game or whatever. Yep. So we're going to be talking draft a lot. We'll be also maybe giving you some futures on Super Bowl bets and maybe next year's Offensive Rookie of the Year or whatever. Because we're always looking ahead.
My question right now, will Justin Fields quarterback the Bears in 2024?
There's a biggie.
Very likely.
Nice.
There we go.
I hope they're right.
Me too.
Here's one is Taylor and Travis Swift, a Defense Department psychop. It says most definitely.
Most definitely.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us. Sorry we went off the rails, but that happens.
Yeah, it does. But that's why you watch fantasy football with the Dork and the Dude. Drop back. I've already made one, by the way, Dork. I was going to make it. Hold it till next week.
Yeah.